What's going on, YouTube? What's going on? I'm not going to forget to put the webcam on, I promise. And here I am. What's going on, everybody? Good to see everyone. Hope I was doing well. I know I got an echo. I fixed it. We fixed it. Yeah, we fixed it. Whew. My first boo-boo of the day. Non-pro streamer. How's everyone doing? It's good to see everyone. Bye-bye music. There we go. Sweet. What's going on, everyone? It's good to see everyone. You know that guy. We'll say hello to everyone. What's going on? There's too many people here to say hello to. Hello, everyone. This is my first YouTube stream. I'm very happy to be here today. I think this is... I definitely am excited to do this, and definitely something that I want to do going forward because I think this is cool, and we can have a little bit of a chat. So, where is the Vision Jet? Yes, I'm sure we will get that question today. Hey, Plain Ben, Ty, Jonathan, Crazy, hello, hey, Key Rose, say hello to everyone. Paint a Plane, hello, Tim, Mr. the Man, 260, hello. Good to see everyone. How's everyone doing today? Kim, how are you? Fly DR, good to see everyone. So yes, first off, we'll just start with the big thing. There's been a name change. So that's number one. It's pretty obvious. We are no longer flying the Vision Jet. Hey Jeff, how are you? Good to see you, buddy. Yes, the Vision Jet is no longer a thing. We will talk a little bit more about that kind of as this kind of next hour or so goes on. As you know, many of you guys know, and there's a video coming out this weekend which will show a little bit of the journey of me as a pilot, and but it's a little bit hard to tell in the videos kind of who am I and how did I suddenly just start posting Vision Jet videos. So one of the things I want to do today in this live session is kind of talk a little bit about how I got to where I am today, some of the great opportunities that I've been very blessed to been able to have, and kind of talk a little bit about that, because I think that's a question that I get quite often in comments, and I know my favorite thing to say is there'll be more soon. There's going to be more soon, and we'll kind of get to that, and that's why today was really important before the next chapter of CitationMax, which is still weird for me to say because I keep saying CitationMax, is to kind of talk a little bit about that and explain to everyone kind of who am I and how did we get here, and how am I so blessed and fortunate to be able to fly the planes that I fly. And that's kind of why it was important for me today to do this before the next first citation video comes out, and something I've been meaning to do for a while, because I think it's important that you guys know a little bit more about me, and I think it just makes the channel better, and everyone kind of knows who I am. So, hey, this year I'm not found. How are you? So a little bit about me. So I started off as a private pilot, and something that I've been a passion of flying since I was 0. It's just been something that has been in my DNA since I was a kid. And I was born and raised in England, which is a lot of things people don't know. And we used to live underneath the Heathrow arrival path into London, and my dad's always traveled since I was a baby, and I always used to sit in the garden and watch planes flying, and that's kind of how the love of flying started for me. And as I got older, I got into flight simulation, it's been one of the greatest things I've ever got into in my life. It's not a video game, it is a simulation. And I moved to America when I was 10, and it had always been a thing for me to go get my pilot's license and talk about and get my license. But I always said to myself, it's too hard. Like, to fly an airplane, there's no way. Like, to fly an airplane, it's impossible. It's too hard. And hello, Ormac, how are you? Hey, Fly DR, good to see you, my friend. When I was 17, my last year of high school, I said, a good buddy of mine just got his pilot's license. And he said, he took me on a flight, and it was incredible. And I said to myself, like, I got to do this. I got to give this a shot and go for it. If I crash and burn and I can't do it, that's fine. But I gave it all I could. I gave it my 190%. And it was funny. This is a story I've told before, but my mom wouldn't let me take flight lessons because she was terrified of me, having some issue in the airplane or whatever. And we went to a little flight school. First off, I'm based in New York City. So I fly out of White Plains. So if anyone's at White Plains, I'm at Millionaire, so come say hello. Please, I always love to show the airplane and talk about airplanes. There's nothing better. But we went to this little flight school out in Long Island, and we walked out, and there was a little 172 there, and the instructor's like, oh, this would be the plane that you would do your flight training in. And my mom said, nope, we're leaving. That thing is too small, it's too tiny. This is not happening. I'm like, Mom, you can't be serious. Like, please, no. Like, we're going to get a shot. She said, no. But after that point, this is something that I've been since day one, is determined. Once I set my mind to something, I'm going to figure out a way to do it. And I was determined to find the plane that my mom would let me do flight training in. So, long story short, I typed in, mom approved airplanes, or mom, planes that they'll let their son fly, and safest airplanes around, and all that stuff, right? And something, what do you think popped up? The parachute, Cirrus. And so I typed right away. I said, okay, Cirrus flight training, New York, and close to New York City, and all that stuff, right? And this flight school called Performance Flight came up, based out of White Plains, and I'm like, I did it. I found it. This is gonna be the one. So it took some convincing, but I was able to get my mom to get to to have like a little orientation thing with one of the general manager there at the flight school, who's such a great guy. And we sat down, and she's like, it has a parachute. How does the parachute work, and this and that. And I said to him, when she went to the bathroom, I said, let's just take her out to the airplane so you can see it. Like, it's a really safe looking airplane, right? And so we went outside, and the Cirrus plane, it sold her. She said, you know what? You can do it. I like Cirrus, has a parachute. That's awesome. Go for it. And that's kind of how, I started flight training. And that was kind of how it started for me. And I was blessed and fortunate to find an instructor. And as many as you guys know, especially these days now, with guys going to the airlines, really guys, not loving to instruct and just kind of signing guys off and then, then moving on to the regionals. I was very, very blessed and fortunate to be able to find an instructor that, first off, was absolutely incredible, and two, was loved to teach and was a fantastic instructor. And I did him from my private all the way through until I got to my jet type ratings. He's a great friend of mine and a lifelong friend. And his name's Kevin. But and ever since then, I've flown with other instructors, and they've all been good. But he has just been, he's on a different level, in my opinion. So, I started my private pilot's license and all that stuff, and loved it. I was sold. And I always tell this story, but the first flight we met, and he's like, oh, tell me a little bit about your history, and kind of, I said, I've been a flight simmer since I was 7. And he's like, oh yeah, I've heard of flight simming, flight simulation, and blah blah. And we go out, and he's like, oh, we're gonna go out to the east, and which is White Plains is kind of on the Long Island Sound, and next to it. And he's like, oh, we're gonna go out and do some maneuvers and stuff. And we get in the airplane, and I'm kind of all jazzed up. I'm like sweating profusely. I'm like, my adrenaline's going. I'm like, this is amazing. And I said, oh, can I work the radios? And he said, yeah, we don't normally do that on someone's first flight. And I said, yeah, but I just want to give it a shot. And I said, all right, 1-1 via kilo, Lima Charlie. I read it back perfectly. And he's like, you know what? We're going to change it up now. We're going to go do the Hudson Corridor, and you're going to do everything, and I want to see if you can do. Let's see what you got. And that was my first flight as a student pilot. And we were talking to Newark Tower, LaGuardia Tower. It was the most thrilling experience. And if anyone has ever done the Hudson Corridor, it is a bucket list item that I recommend anyone doing. And so we did that, and I was sold. It was done. I was over. And from that point on, I knew that this is what I wanted to do. I didn't know how I was going to do it, how I was going to get to thousands of hours, no idea. And did my private pilot's license in 40 whatever hours, and got to the point where after I got my private pilot's license, I was like, I was so burned out, I was tired, I was worn out, I thought I was done. And then I flew more and flew more, and I decided, step back a second. I actually went to NYU for 2 years, and this was kind of hey Justin, how are you? As everything was kind of going on and flying in school, I was going full time, and I decided one day, I sat down with my parents and I said, I want to do this. I want to go for it. I want to fly. This is, for me, my calling. This is my passion. Hey Kevin, what's up, man? How are you? So speaking of Kevin down there, he was my instructor I've just been talking about for about 5 minutes or so, who is the best instructor in the business and just a fantastic guy and a longtime friend of mine. So that was my instructor. So you can thank Kevin for me getting to where I am today. So I decided I'm going for it, and I dropped out of NYU, and I started the legendary Kevin. Yep, and I got to the point where I said I'm going to do this full time. And I did my instrument, I did, my commercials, and yes, he is featured, yep. I went everything. And then I got to the point where, I had, my commercial, and I had this, but I had no flight time. And I decided, how can I build flight time? I don't really want to be an instructor, and as much as instructors are great, and they have a, great piece in the aviation industry, that's not what I want to do. And I found an organization called Angel Flight Northeast, which is, there's I think 6 or 7 of them in the Northeast. And I said, I think I can do this as a way of building flight time and also sharing experiences and at this point, giving back a bit, because, I've been blessed and fortunate and been given opportunities that, other people just haven't been given. And I think that the least that anyone can do in that position is give back. And for me, that was doing Angel Flight. I loved it. I was able to fly. I was able to help other people and it was a fantastic way for me to build flight time. And for about 6 months, I was doing 3 to 4 Angel Flights a day. 3 to 4 Angel Flights a week. And it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. And I was able to fly about 600 hours in the first year of doing that. And before I knew it, I was almost at, 1,000 hours. And this is kind of when, at this point, I had my commercial multi, single, I had built some multi-time, I had kind of done a bunch of different flying. And my dad came to me, and my dad runs a family business, and he said, I think I can use you. I think we could, and keep in mind, my dad had never flown with me one time, because he'd always said, at 250 hours, I'm going to fly a few max. And at 500 hours, I'll fly a few. Then we got there, and he said, 750. And at 750, 1,000. And then finally at 1,000 hours, he said, I think I'm going to start flying with you. And I think there's a way of figuring out a way for our family to be able to do this. And this is where it kind of leads into, how did I fly the Vision Jet? How did we pick the Vision Jet? How did that kind of all work? And it was very simple, the fact that we knew Cirrus. We had owned an SR-22, which many of you guys saw in old videos, kind of when the channel first started, which was 595 Mike Whiskey. And but my dad was petrified of flying a piston airplane. He's scared of propellers, which I don't know why, but that's okay. And so we decided that we love Cirrus. At that point, there was the Vision Jet. It was new. It was beautiful airplane. Conceptually, technology was new, and all those things that we should look at maybe getting a position, because as you know, Cirrus have 600 positions on order, and the only way for you to get in to get a Vision Jet is you have to buy a position. So 100% live. Yes, this is live on the internet. So that is kind of long story short, how we led into the Vision Jet. We were able to get a position, my parents were, and I went in for type rating school down in Knoxville, and it was a great experience, a great first type rating. It really was. The instructors were really great. Cirrus do a great job, and it was a great experience. I mean, it was just a great kind of learning to fly your first turbine aircraft. And we took delivery in October. And that's kind of when I started, posting the videos. And was it November? I think the famous O'Hare taxi, where I taxied around O'Hare for 35 minutes, and apparently 1 million people watched me taxi around O'Hare, which is pretty incredible. I still don't know how that happened, but obviously you guys like my taxi skills, so that was good. So that was kind of what happened. So I got type rated. It was my first type rating. And we did a bunch of flights with my dad, and it was really great for our family business. And we were doing Boston trips and all sorts of really trips that he was really enjoying and stuff. And then after about 10 trips or so, we had done a West Coast trip, the famous West Coast kind of LAX, and all sorts of good stuff like that. And my dad sat down with me, and as a family, we would he loved for his business, and my mom, who runs some animal and children charities across the country, decided that this really works, but the Vision Jet is not fitting the mission that we need it to fit. I'll just say this right now. I love the Vision Jet. That airplane was so much fun to hand fly. You could go from 210 knots to 90 in like 15 seconds. It was incredible. I mean, it was just, from a pilot's point of view, it's a fantastic airplane. But obviously, I'm my dad's pilot, our family's pilot. I'm the only pilot in the family. So it wasn't, in a way up to me. It was pretty much, is there a way to, sell the Vision Jet and, move into something else that fits the mission? Because there were some issues that my dad just wasn't a big fan of. I'll name a couple. It's very loud in the Vision Jet, so he had to wear a headset. I know it seems small, but for my dad, who's an older gentleman, that's a thing. Just little things, toilet, there's no bins to put his sandwiches, just stuff like that. And we were having some maintenance issues and some stuff that were starting to affect some trips happening. And it was just getting to the point where maybe there's a better airplane to fit our mission. And maybe in hindsight, the Vision Jet was not the plane that we, should have gotten in the beginning. But it was the plane that, because we love Cirrus and they do a great job, and we loved our SR-22. That was kind of how we got, to there. And so I had about 100 hours at this point. It was Christmas time. And long story short, we kind of made it known that we were interested in selling the Vision Jet. And in a matter of like 6 days, there was a bidding war, and it sold. It was the craziest 6 days of my life. I remember that vividly. And we were blessed and fortunate to be able to actually, not lose money on it. We did, very well. We were very fortunate. And we're in the position where now we don't have the Vision Jet anymore. And you start thinking about, companies that are, been around for, a long time, that are stable, that have a solid airframe, that is, just efficient, and you start looking at airplanes, you start looking at phenoms, right? You start looking at M2s, you start looking at Honda jets, and you kind of start going through all the numbers of really what our mission needs, what is an airframe that has just been tried and tested and all those things. And kind of one airplane kind of stands out, and it's the Citation M2 by Textron Aviation. And you start looking at the 525 series and all that kind of stuff, and it's like, wow, they really build an airplane that is just rock solid. And the biggest thing that I think goes with having a bigger company like a Textron Aviation is the support network. And we'll go in a little bit more detailed about kind of what their support network, but it's global. It's to the point where if you break down in 2 hours, they'll have a plane out to you with 2 mechanics, and they'll get you to wherever you need to go. That is an incredible support network to have. And their airplane, they've made thousands of these 525 airplanes. It's just such a good airplane and respected in the industry. So long story short, we were able to work with Textron and their team over there, which were just fantastic. And and just, I mean, was really a pleasure to work with. I mean, they took care of us. They treated us with utmost respect. It was great. And long story short, they came to us and said, okay, yeah, we can do this. We got very fortunate to get a very good deal. But there's delivery in 6 weeks. I said, whoa, delivery in 6 weeks. And then my dad's, telling me, we have trips coming up here ASAP. Like, sure, we'll go for it. And the next thing I know, a day after we signed the papers, I had all my 1,000 pages of type rating stuff. And I'm just like, I just went through a type rating 4 months ago for the VisionJet. Now I have to study for a whole other type rating. And it was, I started to get a little overwhelmed. But once you get through the documentation, and I mean, flight safety, who's what Textron used for their training, they used them and True, which is down in Tampa. But actually True was sold out. So I went to flight safety, and they used like Flight Bag is what it's called. And how they lay out the training material was absolutely incredible from a pilot's point of view to learn, in my opinion. And you start to get deep into the documentation and learning the airplane, and you could just see from that how well they build an airplane. I mean, it just works. Like how everything, it's incredible. So long story short, we booked my type, and I went in, and I was down in Wichita, Kansas for 3.5 weeks, which was an interesting experience. A New York City boy going to Kansas is, it takes a couple days to get used to it. But by the end of it, I found my favorite Starbucks. I found Bonefish, which I'd never heard of before, and I've fallen in love with Bonefish now. I mean, Bonefish is like my favorite restaurant in the world. Loved it. Went there like 8 days when I was in type. And a funny thing is about Bonefish, a little off topic here for a second, but when I was at type, as I hope everyone knows who Premier One jet driver is, Greg, who's a longtime friend and fantastic pilot. He was actually there doing recurrent for the Premier jet, so we were able to grab dinner, which was a fantastic experience. And I'll tell you, he's one of the good guys. He is just such a good guy, kind, and I was able to pick his brain because his knowledge it's incredible. So that's a side Bonefish story. So I did the type rating, and it was tough, it was challenging, but we got through it, and passed so there's 2 type ratings you can get. There's the crew type rating in the 525, or there's the single pilot type rating. So that means there's a little S on your ticket next to the 525. So I went for that type rating so I could fly at single pilot, and I passed, and it was a great experience. And so I got back about 2.5 weeks ago. So kind of life has been crazy the past couple weeks. And then I got back, I passed my check ride on a Friday, and then we took delivery on the Monday. So I went back and forth from home, and it was all sorts of craziness. And I had 25 hours of SOE, which is supervised operational experience, that I had to do, because if you do your check ride in a simulator and you don't have, I think it's 500 hours multi-turbine time, you have to fly with 25 hours with another pilot. And then there's insurance time added to that, which is an X amount set by the insurance underwriters. So kind of what's been kind of going on recently is I've been getting the SOE done. Right now I'm at 21 hours, so we're actually flying out to Jackson Hole tomorrow, which is very exciting. And going to be, hopefully after that point, done with SOE and moving on for the insurance requirements after that. So that's kind of where, all kind of compressed into 20 minutes of kind of my life. But that's kind of a little bit of what's going on. Yes, there will be a Jackson Hole video, Justin. I promise you that. We did some filming about 4 days ago, the first M2 flight, which I'm going to give you a little bit of a sneak peek. It's going into a big Bravo airport with some cool stuff that happened on the side. And Jackson Hole there's some Caribbean trips coming up. There's some really, really cool trips. And I think the one thing that I want you guys to know is, obviously I'm sad. I think you guys are sad about the VisionJet. But The M2, I think we're going to be going to cooler places. We're going to be doing more interesting stuff. There might be an Iceland trip. There's going to be a lot of really cool stuff that I can't wait to share with you guys, because in a way, this is, as much as it's our family airplane, this is much me wanting to share with you guys, and you guys kind of being in the seat next to me and tagging along, because I love doing this. I love, filming and doing all that good stuff, but also sharing with you guys. So I think you guys are really going to love the videos, and I'm really excited to see, to be posting. Yeah. So I have some pictures of the airplane and some sneak peek stuff, but there's been a lot of comments, so I'm going to kind of go back here quickly and talk. Yep, the toilet's MEL'd right now. Yep, only Dad has number 1 and number 2 availability on that thing. So yep. Watching Vision. Yeah, it's the Vision Jet's a fascinating airplane. It really is. Ashram, hey man, how are you? What's the fuel burn difference between the Vision Jet and the M2? Quite a bit. So I'll give you an example. The Vision Jet, the whole plane, it was a 296 gallon tank. The M2, it's 246 gallons a side. So just from that point of view, it holds a lot more fuel. It burns a lot more fuel. But what's interesting is when you get up to 40,000+ feet, the plane performance is incredible. It's 300 pounds a side is what I've seen at 40 and 41. I mean, it's a remarkably efficient airplane up high. Now down low, you chug gas like crazy, but up there it's incredible. The M2 was the best you could. Yeah. The travel, it lives in Vegas. Hey Matt, how you doing, buddy? And for the love of God, don't look. Yeah. The Honda Jet's a meme. I don't know much about the Honda Jet. It wasn't something that we considered, just because in a way it's another new airplane, right? And we really wanted to go for the proven, tried, tested, solid airplane, and that was what Cessna and Textron and all that stuff. So my dream Dassault Falcon, that's a pretty cool airplane. Textron will even drive out to. Yep, it's called MSU. They've just been incredible so far. Hey, Pro, how are you? Let's see here. Hey, James, what does your sim setup look like? Okay, so this is another little thing. So I do stream on Twitch.tv also, same name, CitationMax. And this is kind of something that's another hobby of mine that I've done for many years. And it's, I fly fake airplanes. And what's better than that? Because A320, 747s, all sorts of TBM, stuff that I don't fly real world, and I love it. It's incredible. So if you guys are interested in that too, twitch.tv/CitationMax I do that about once a week when I have some free time, but Citation Dad is keeping me very busy with all the flying we're doing. So, but definitely once a week I try and get a stream. One thing I do want to mention though, and I know I think you guys and girls would be interested by this, but we have an Instagram page now, and it's exclusively for all the citation stuff. And it's CitationMax #1 on Instagram. And we're going to be posting live stories, pictures from pretty much all the trips I'm going on now. Again, CitationMax and the #1. And I really hope you guys you'll follow that channel, because I think that's kind of, if you guys want up-to-date information, that's where you got to go, because it's going to be pretty cool. So as long as you're in the vids, well, there you go. That's what I like to hear. If you're gonna let me know, yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. Hey Bob, what kind of business does your father do? He runs a family office. It's our own family office. How does the Vision Jet perform? Lars, well, first off, it doesn't go up to 41,000 feet. It's so the G1 edition is 28,000, and then now the G2 edition, which is 31. But good luck getting 31,000 feet out of New York. They don't like that. Does it have range to fly to the West Coast? Hey, S7473, how are you? No, so unfortunately not. The M2 has a range with IFR reserves between 12 and 1,300 miles. So unfortunately it doesn't. Tomorrow, for instance, going out to Jackson Hole, we'll make a stop in the Midwest, and kind of head out that way. So, I assume LA, kind of with, I always want to be conservative with fuel and safe practice. So probably LA's 2 stops, probably Midwest, Colorado, LA kind of thing, is the plan. Any challenging approaches so far? Hey, Torque Sim, how are you? It's funny you say that, because pretty much every approach I've done in the M2 so far has been challenging. I mean, it's either been low approach into Philadelphia a couple weeks last week, 400-foot ceilings and windy. Flying into Boston, gusting 30. Flying out of Kansas where its winds are just, I don't know, variable from every possible direction. It's been a really, really good experience and a good learning experience, being able to fly with the mentor pilot, learn just a ton, but also be in situations where, when I'm flying at single pilot, that's what I'm going to be, flying in, and it's great training, and it's really, I've learned a lot, and the pilots I've flown with have just been terrific. Really, really enjoyed it so far. So, all right, let's see here. You should watch Max's podcast. Yeah. So I also did a podcast with Bill Ferrelli a couple days ago, which was awesome. So he does a great job with his podcast and has some really interesting people on. So definitely give him a follow on YouTube. Do you prefer the yoke? See, this is kind of funny. So, and this is maybe something you guys. So my sim, I have a joystick like this. It's a HOTAS Warhog, and people always ask, well, why don't you fly with a yoke? And I always said, because I fly a Cirrus, and it's a side stick. But now I fly with a yoke, so I'm in the process of looking at other options and thinking about maybe what would be kind of good with my desk and all sorts of stuff. So that is, yes. But do I prefer the stick with a yoke? I'll be honest with you, I prefer the yoke. I like you feel more in control. I like kind of the push sensation. I really enjoy it. I will say this though, the Vision Jet had all electronic checklist, and the Citation does not. It's all paper on basically like a large flashed laminated card. And everyone says, oh man, you don't have electronic checklist anymore. I said, I'm happy I don't. I love having a physical card where you can have your finger and you just go each point down on the line. So I think sometimes older technology, older, performance, older stuff is sometimes better. And I think that's something that has been interesting for me to learn. Ain't no good jokes in place since yeah. Well, hopefully there will be one at some point, Toto. That'd be good. Anyway, long story short, it's time to show a little sneak peek to everyone that's here, and I just want to say thank you to everyone that's here right now. I really appreciate everyone coming out and tuning in. It means a lot to me. I know I should have said this in the beginning, but everyone watching the channel CitationMax on YouTube, formerly CirrusMax, it means so much to me that everyone enjoys the videos. So I hope that you enjoy the videos, and you guys are here for today for the live stream. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. So thank you. So I will get some pictures for you guys. Hey, Andre. Hey, Joe. How are you? Is it worth buying a Vision Jet? 5 people from Cold One, Jersey to Tampa. Yeah. So 5 people. So I'll give you an example. So we have pretty much a full plane tomorrow out to Jackson Hole, and we can do about 900 to 1,000 miles, which is pretty good. In the Vision Jet, you could probably maybe do 500, half that. That's a huge split right there. Hey, Kevin, how are you? Hey, SQ Vision, how are you? Good to see you. Hey, Black Phillip, hello, my friend. Good to see you. How are you? Austin Gunn, check out Real Sim Gear. Awesome. Okay, yeah, I would love to. Sure. I'm going to write that down. All right, cool. Sneak peek time. All right, let's see here. All right, so I have a little folder that I prepared. I'm going to kind of walk through some of the pictures. Some of it's from type rating, some of it's some videos, some from flying, just a bunch of different stuff, but a little something I put together to kind of show you guys. All right. So this was, just as a little intro, this was the Textron Aviation Delivery Center in Wichita as we're walking in. Now keep in mind there's going to be some people with cameras and kind of some stuff all around. That is, so a little behind the scenes. Textron wanted to do a PR video, basically a little bit about myself, showing kind of going from a Vision Jet to an M2, the training, the delivery process, how Textron kind of goes above and beyond compared to some other manufacturers, and really show what they do. And what they do, just from going through the process, was night and day. Hello, Grant. Good to see you, my friend. Hello from Scotland. Well, hello from New York City. Still just your mug on the screen. Oh, yeah, I know. I was just talking a little bit behind. Yeah, no. You don't want to see my mug, though? I'm showing pictures. So they wanted to do, hey, Explain Port. They wanted to do a PR video. And I really, it was a little stressed going into it. But, oh, thank you, Ty. I appreciate it. But they were really great. Really just did a great job. And that video will be out probably in the next couple weeks. I think early May is what and it's going to be showing simulator training, showing delivery, all sorts of good stuff, which I think you guys are really going to love. So there's going to be some stuff here, but I'm going to show you if I can figure out how to switch scenes here. We're going to do, all right, scenes. There we go. And now we'll do this. Nope, wrong video. Typical Max. Here we go. So this is us walking into the delivery center. And you can see there's all sorts of people and teams and stuff. But this is November 2 Romeo Fox, everyone. So this is it's an incredible airplane. It's big. I mean, compared to the Vision Jet, like you feel like this is a big airplane. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, I feel like a midget compared to the thing. It's just a remarkable airplane. And this is as we were doing our walk around of the airplane. The Citation M2 is on the side there, which is very cool. And then as we walk inside, so you'll see here we have the G3000 cockpit, which is same sort of setup as the Vision Jet, but you have really the airline cool jet pilot 2 FMC boxes that really solid. And you actually have switches and stuff you can hit now, which is pretty cool. So this is the cockpit of the M2. Get that all the different stuff here. I'll show you guys here a little bit. You have all sorts of throttles, and I'll show you. But my favorite sound, I'm just gonna stop right here, is coming up. There we go. Hold on. Here we go. So this is the best sound on the whole airplane. Ready? Here we go. We have a seatbelt sign. We have a seatbelt ding dong. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing Cirrus messed up on. Every pilot needs to have a seatbelt sign ding dong sound. It's just the best. I'm sorry, but that's just number one. You got to have that. It's just it's incredible. So that was a little bit of that. I'm gonna kind of go through a walk around here of a little bit of kind of some pictures from training. Again, these pictures aren't great. This was taken on my cell phone because at flight safety you're really not supposed to take pictures, but that's okay. So this was in the simulator. You can see this was. I forgot where we were. Salina, Kansas. We were somewhere. So that was kind of this here. This was me being interviewed. So this is part of the PR video kind of campaign, which you guys will see at a later date. It was a whole big production, which Textron and their whole PR campaign did a great job on. But it was definitely a lot. So it's a little bit of that. So this was at, I'm just going to pull up chat here so I can see a little bit what's going on. So this was at type rating. So this was in class and at flight safety. This was, you walk into the door, you have the M2 initial. This I take, hey John, how you doing, buddy? Hey, amen. Every pilot needs a ding dong. I couldn't have said it better. Yep. So this is some of the stuff that flight safety give you as part of studying for your check ride. So it's all flashcards, and this was just kind of taking little pictures and kind of snippets of stuff that they provide. This is the touch trainer. So this is where we practice our flows, our procedures, before we get into the level D simulator, where kind of the madness and the sweat box begins, as they say. Let's see here. Did you try the app? What app? Flight Bag? So this was in my hotel in Wichita. They gave you kind of a huge poster. So I put that up and just practicing flows and memory items and all sorts of stuff. So this was really, really great, and it really helped me kind of get ready for the check ride. So this was cool. Really enjoyed that. And I think Cirrus should start thinking about maybe doing something like this, because from a pilot's point of view, the Citation M2 type rating and how everything was laid out from a pilot's point of view to study for a type rating was a lot better than how Cirrus do it. And I think that's just because Cirrus is newer. They have some learning to do, but how Textron and Flight Safety did it was really, really good. Do I still have that poster? I don't know, Ty. That's a good question. I'm not sure. So this is a little different. So this is before we got into that first touch trainer I showed you guys. So it's like a little desktop simulator where you kind of practice kind of flows and checklists and all that stuff. And this was cool. I enjoyed this. This is actually a lot of fun. This is all kind of the stuff that we had to memorize once we got there. So, on a checklist, you'll see, battery switch, emer position. But a lot of the stuff at Flight Safety, what they'll do is they'll lead you to 19 different items, right? So this is kind of the stuff that we had to memorize once we got to type, because when you get into the simulator, you don't have time to take an hour just to get the plane off the ground. So a lot of it is memorization, flows, which was pretty cool. Was the arrival into LAX what made you get the citation? 250. It's the best we can do, sir. No. But that was a good one though. That was a good video. Oh yeah. I did use them a little bit, Matt, but I preferred the physical, like the actual kind of the flip ones. I really enjoyed those quite a bit. This was some more kind of, this is all the anti-ice kind of flows that we do. This was our instructor. This was the bleed air system on the airplane, which you guys can see here is just a little bit more complicated than the Vision Jet. But again, it was taught well and definitely it was definitely good. All right, let's see here. This is my hotel room, all the books that we're studying every day after we got home from class. So it was quite a bit. This is the simulator. I can tell you this right now, guys. The simulator is not meant for a 6'4" man. I'm 6'4", and I hit my head about 6 times going into the simulator every time. I mean, my forehead was all bruised up. It's you kind of have to do this duck maneuver inside, and it was interesting. Yeah. All right. So this is the simulator. So you can see here I'm right seat. So part of the single pilot requirements to get the single pilot type rating is you have to do 1 sim session as a crew. Now keep in mind, my 2 guys in my class who were just fantastic guys. I mean, they were just incredible people. One was a Gulfstream 500 pilot. The other one was an American Airlines 787 Dreamliner, 737, 787, 757. Every airplane that's ever been made, he has a type rating in. I mean, both those guys were just incredible. I mean, great guys, but the experience. And they were like, oh, Max, the guy of the Vision Jet type rating. So it was very interesting to be training in an environment where, I mean, these guys were professionals, and you really got to the point where you felt like a professional pilot being in their kind of, being in their environment. It was really good. It was really, really good. I can't stay, buddy, on break. Absolutely, Adam. Take care, my friend. We'll see you soon. This weekend, the next CitationMax video will be coming out, so we'll see you very soon. But Adam, thank you very much for hanging out today. I appreciate it. The ARC, nor is it big enough for the 250-pound man. My captain in a CJ3 could barely. Yeah, it's tight. I'm 200 on a good day, probably 210 on a bad day, and it's tight. But once you get in the seat, though, for me, it's comfortable. It's just getting in there is a little bit of a, an experience. So that was that. This was part of the check ride is on the oral. After you pass the oral, you have to do a pre-flight. Now, obviously at Flight Safety, they don't have an airplane for you to, do a walk around on. So you do it on something called a pictorial pre-flight. So the examiner will be in front of you, and you'll basically walk around the airplane, explaining to him what you check, what you don't check, all that kind of stuff, oil levels, and all sorts of that kind of cool stuff. So did they give you some signature cookies for the Bang Ted? No cookies. They did have some good juice, though, at Flight Safety. Was the coffee good? That's pretty important. Matt, I found the most incredible Starbucks that I've ever been to in my life. It was on like East Central Avenue. They were the nicest. So if anyone's ever in Wichita, Kansas, the East Central Starbucks, by far the best Starbucks I've ever been to in my life. And I went there like 5 times a day on every break. So I actually didn't even try the Flight Safety coffee. But the cookies I was not impressed with. Hey, Ron, how are you? Good afternoon, my friend. So this is kind of cool. So before each flight in the sim, they'll give you your training plan. And this is kind of what you prepare for. This was actually the mock check ride. So this was something that we kind of, I don't know if you guys can even see this here, but this is kind of the training plan and what you can expect and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of V1 cuts and a lot of cool stuff that the Vision Jet did not suffice. So, and then delivery. Here we go. CitationMax and team. So you guys have been with me since day one of November 2 Romeo Foxtrot. This was pretty hilarious walking into Textron Aviation, and then you have all these fancy people, and then you have CitationMax and team. So it's hey Iowa Scotsman, how are you? So that was kind of funny, being a part of that. And then delivery of the airplane. Another great part of Textron that I've noticed is their detail. I mean, their level of detail is incredible. I mean, everyone there, if there's a little tiny paint chip or anything, you had guys there touching everything up and making it look as good as it could. So my hat's off to everyone in Independence, Kansas and Wichita for really making, the plane just an incredible airplane. Really, really good. IBTM, hi from Marco Island. What do you think of the SF-50 for regional flight missions? For regional flight missions, depending on the actual mission, weight, payload, it's a great airplane. And I think, it really, for certain missions, it does a fantastic job. Just for our mission as a family, it wasn't doing what we needed it to do. But it's a great airplane. And then we have we kind of showed you this here, walking in. This is the cabin interior. So this is kind of, it's a dark gray, which is kind of cool. So a little bit different than the Vision Jet. Really this is the toilet. And then this is the emergency egress door. Again, I didn't really do much editing, but you guys can see here from a cabin point of view, it really does have that true cabin feel, which is what my father and my mother really, really wanted. So, it really has the 4 big seats, and then you have the cockpit up front. I think my post disappeared. Hey, Grant, well, sure. If you repost it, I'd love to answer it. I'm going to go back and answer some questions. Hey, Joe, how do you feel about flying without caps? I think a second engine's way better, to be honest. And from the training that we've done in the simulator, one engine, it's not a big deal. You just fly the airplane. It's really, and that's what they drill at you at type rating. You lose an engine, you have what you got to do. It's drilled in our brain, and we do that. We come back and land. It's not going to kill you. Just you got to know what you got to, know what you got to do, and know what you have to do, and your memory items and all your good stuff, and you come back and land. And it's really a important thing. Have you made it back to Vegas? No, not yet. No, we literally just took delivery of the M2 2 weeks ago. It literally this is all new. This is all very, very new. Have you ever flown the Phenom 300? My favorite airplane, very capable. I've never flown the Phenom 300 personally. I think it's a really cool airplane. I really do. I've seen a bunch of them on the ramp. Sexy airplane, really, really cool airplane. So yeah, no, I think it's a very cool airplane. Love to fly one someday. How long does it take in America to go from a non-pilot to a small jet pilot if the cash and medical is there? That's a good question. There's many ways of doing it. I'm just going to get this picture off here. Do I have anything else? Oh, here we go. We have a couple more things, but we'll postpone. We'll go back here to there we go. I'll get back to answering some questions here. All right, cool. So here we go. It all depends on if you can be a CFI, if you can, it just depends on what, you need to build time. You can become an instructor. You can do angel flights is what I did. And it was, meant so much to me to be able to help people that didn't have enough money to, get from A to B, or they were too sick to get, on commercial travel. So I love that personally from a humanitarian point of view. It meant a lot to me to be able to help people do that. But, I think you can definitely find many ways of building time. Through the type ratings and everything. Yeah. The biggest thing that I can say about type ratings is you put your mind to it, you study, you have, for me, I always tell people, everyone studies a little bit differently. I think I study in a really, really good way, but, the guy next to me or someone else, whoever would probably think that way of studying is ridiculous, and there's no way anyone can study like that. So I think if you put your mind to it, you study, anything is doable. How is the V1 cuts in the M2 is they don't, Matt, it is definitely a don't skip leg day. Yeah, it is a leg day if anyone has ever seen one in their life. I mean, my thighs definitely got a little bigger from being in Wichita for 3 weeks. Little thing about system knowledge in the M2 is there's no rudder bias or rudder boost, depending on how you look at it. So when you lose an engine, a V1 cut, it is your leg versus the airplane. And in most cases, your full rudder trim and your pedal down, and you're pretty much there is kind of where you have to be. So, yeah, it's a handful. I was thinking about 2 years to get your license. Yeah, I mean, it depends how much you fly, but absolutely, yeah. Yeah, angel flights are great. I'm gonna go back here and catch up on some questions here. So if anyone has any questions, we're gonna answer a couple questions here, and then I'll finish the rest of the videos and some stuff of kind of delivery and all that good stuff. But if anyone has any questions to ask, please feel free. I'm gonna catch up on some questions here, see if I missed anything because I hate missing questions. It's okay. Austin Gunn, if you're so, any meaning to the N number? Yes, yeah, that's actually a great question. So, my mom has basically devoted her life to saving animals, and I've grown up with animals. We have animal sanctuaries all across the country. It's kind of, we save, I mean, we have 5 dogs here at home. I have 1 dog myself, all rescues. It's just kind of our family. That's just what we do. And the call sign, so 2 Romeo Foxtrot. So our 2 first dogs as a family was Reggie and Figo, and one, Figo, actually passed away 2 years ago at age 15, and Reggie's 16 now and still going strong. So he are thinking as well, when Reggie does pass away at some point, that every time we fly, we'll be closer to heaven to be able to see, be with them, and we'll be in the sky, and they'll always know that we're with them and up there with them. So that's the meaning of the tail number. Love the citation. Hey, 400 Romeo Romeo. I like that. I like that call sign. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. All right. Let's see. Great looking bird. Thanks, Justin. Okay, but no music. I like the music. Sometimes is very good. Sometimes the music's very. It just depends. I know sometimes music isn't the the most popular thing, but any studying tips? Beginning my instrument soon, and I struggled with studying on the PPL. Riley, I think you're going to, in my opinion, I found studying for the instrument rating easier than the private pilot's license, because with the instrument rating, it's a lot more structured. It's not, explaining a power on stall or explaining lift and angle of attack. You want to explain a procedure, and you're going to fly it how you briefed it and how it is on the chart. And if you can do that, it makes it a lot easier for me. And that's why I enjoyed instrument training, to be honest, a lot more than private pilot training, was because it was structured. It was kind of in a way military based, that you do this, and this at this point. I enjoyed the instrument training. So that's my tips. For the written exam, I highly recommend Shepherd Air. I've used that on all of my, written prep and all that stuff. And it's been just a fantastic company, and it's helped me quite a bit. So Shepherd Air. Madison Allen, do I own the M2? No, I do not. It's our family airplane. My parents own the M2, and I'm the pilot, so I fly my parents around, and I'm very blessed and fortunate to be able to sometimes use it for fun trips and to take friends flying, but most of the 90% of the trips are taking my parents where they need to go, either for business or charity work or whatever it might be. Do you have any goals for the videos channels going forward? Jeff, that's a great question. My biggest goal is continue to share with you guys, go to cool places, really try and explain what I'm doing, walk you through kind of the process of being a Citation M2 pilot. And if that's getting to the airport and what's the first thing we do. And really, I want to take you along the ride as much as I can. And really, I want you guys to be in the right seat with me as much as possible, because I think that's how I would want to watch it. That's how I like to watch the videos. But I think the biggest thing is, really sharing the experience from the seat, and so you guys are really there with me. And I think that's kind of a goal of mine going forward. Cameras are kind of obviously a big thing. I want to get better cameras. I really want to add some more, some stuff to the channel that really kind of live up to the plane itself. When you're crossing the puddle, would it nice? Yeah, it sure would. I don't know about that though, Johnny. That might be a while. How do you feel about the touchscreen input by real physical buttons and knobs. So I like the touchscreen personally. This plane is actually better, in my opinion, than the VisionJet from the touchscreen knob point of view, partially because there's obviously touchscreens in this airplane, but there's also a lot of knobs and switches you need to manually do, which I really like, because I think the VisionJet in a way is too automated. And you kind of get bored. There's just not enough to do in the airplane. And I think with this, you're stimulated. It's a great single pilot airplane. We also have to do some stuff manually, which I really like. So I think the touchscreen knob combination that Textron of Aviation have really been able to kind of find that balance has been really good. What happened to the SR-22 and the VisionJet? Madison, sure. Hey Adam, how are you? So Madison, so the SR-22 was an airplane for me to build time. I was an instrument commercial single guy at 250 hours. So you can't do anything, at 250 hours, as you guys know in the industry. So I was very fortunate and blessed to be able to, we were able to, as a family, to purchase an SR-22. And I flew that thing about 900 hours in about a year and a half to 2 years before we were able to get to the upgrade to the VisionJet. So it was really a time builder. At White Plains and most places in New York, it's about $500 an hour just to rent an SR-22. So from a financial point of view, it made no sense to be able to do that. So that was the reason why we got the SR-22 and then sold the SR-22. The VisionJet is kind of what I explained earlier. It really just wasn't fitting our mission. That's really the biggest thing. The M2 fits our mission a lot better. It's a solid airplane, proven, tested. The support is just drastically better. So that was kind of the reason for the two. Can you actually flight plan? Oh yeah, we could do that, Joe. That's actually a good idea. Absolutely. And it's actually a lot more serious now, the flight planning, because it's a real jet. I mean, there's a lot more that we have to plan. I start planning, 4 or 5 days in advance. So absolutely, we could definitely do that. Absolutely. That's actually a good idea. I was hoping my ears using X-Plane would be beneficial. Listen, Riley, I mean, I've been simming, since I was 7, and it helped me drastically for when I actually got in the real airplane. I mean, when I stream on Twitch, CitationMax, twitch.tv/CitationMax or whatever, it's me doing that. The workload of looking at chat plus flying the airplane helps drastically from then getting in the actual airplane. It really, I highly recommend X-Plane. And for everyone that's not, for everyone that sims, that doesn't use pilotedge.net, and I'm not saying this because no sponsorships, they're just a fantastic company that has helped me as a pilot grow to where I am today. They provide, I believe it's 15 hours a day of guaranteed air traffic control. Their controllers are fantastic. And from a training point of view, it is, I think, the biggest luxury to have that network. It's obviously it's a cost network. You do have to pay, but I think the value itself is just, it's dirt cheap to the value you get out of it. So if anyone out there is an avid flight simmer and not on Pilot Edge, I highly recommend it. It's never seen do the camera angle. Yeah, and also show us how the autopilot is used. And yeah, so we actually have a new camera angle for that one, Joe. So that's going to be coming soon on the next video. We have a kind of a cool behind one. You can see me kind of the knobs and all that kind of stuff. All right, let's see here. Should I bring Ian along with his camera rigs? Yeah, I'm totally, absolutely. As long as it's legal, let's do it. What tips do you have for anyone wanting to get started in YouTube or Twitch streaming for flight sim? That's a great question. YouTube, what I can say, and this is what I kind of goes for Twitch also. If you would watch it, then that you're doing something right. If you wouldn't watch what you're doing, then you're doing something wrong. And I think, my biggest things is you got to be yourself. I mean, for me, that's what I strive myself on. This is me. This is Max. I'm not trying to be anyone else. If you don't like me for me being me, then this is all you're going to get. You know what I mean? And be true to yourself. Try and do interesting flights. Try and teach something or show a cool experience or talk about real world flying. All those things I think really help. I don't know, Matt, if you could do Falcon stuff with some GoPros, that would be awesome. I know people would eat that up. I mean, seriously, eat that up. Also, my great stuff needs, yes, and CitationMax swag. Well, that's going to be, Jeff, you beat me to it. That is in the works. CitationMax swag is in the works. And I'll be posting some stuff probably in the next couple weeks, some ideas on the Instagram page, CitationMax1, the number 1. If anyone wants to follow that, CitationMax1. And we'll have some ideas. And I'd love your guys' opinion on some stuff because I would love some help. Ryan, how are you doing, buddy? Good afternoon. HGLEW, how do you get designated as an angel flight at Boston with the big boys? Sure. So I think I kind of know what you're asking there. So you, based on your location, wherever you are in the world, in the U.S., if you're DC, New York, Boston, LA, whatever, you get designated to your closest area. So for me, it was Angel Flight Northeast. And once you sign up, you meet all their requirements, whatever they are, 500 hours, insurance rating, blah, blah, blah. And then you get a login access on your computer. And there's upwards of 70 flights at a time available for you to pick. And you just go and you pick it. If you see Boston, cool, I'm going to Logan. Or, hey, I don't want to go to Logan, I'm going to go to Syracuse. You can just pick that way, and it's great. How do you use flightplan.com? Yep, I use flightplan.com for planning, and I use APG, which is Aircraft Performance Group, for weight and balance and runway analysis and all that kind of good stuff. So, but flightplan.com is my main use for flight planning right now. Yep. Don't forget waypoints. Yeah. Can't wait for the new videos with them too. I got to check one out. Oh yeah, cool. I'm really excited to sharing, my adventures with you guys. And again, there's some really cool trips. So kind of some sneak peeks. We have, a big Bravo airport we flew into last week, which we recorded. I'm going to be recording Jackson Hole tomorrow, which I think is going to be just epic. We have a Dominican Republic trip coming up in a couple weeks, which I think is going to be awesome. We have, again, possibly an Iceland trip. We have some cool big Bravo stuff. We just have a bunch of cool stuff going on, some Canada stuff, just a bunch of stuff, Miami. So a lot of cool stuff going on. Got to keep that wait list. You know it, Johnny. X-Plane 11 plus pilots, the best combo. Absolutely, Bill. Yep, I completely agree. Thank you for your help, Max. Enjoyed my time flying with you. Oh, yeah. Riley, are you on P? Oh, year 2. I have to go help take delivery of a Global Express. Wow. Thank you so much, Riley. Well, if you ever message me, would love to do some pilotage flying with you. And again, it's such a great network. And, this is kind of what I say, to everyone on Twitch and now on YouTube, I'll say it. Flight simulation and Twitch and aviation in general, just not even fake airplanes, real airplanes, whatever, is I've met some of my best friends, lifelong friends, some of the best people I've ever met in my life. And I think I will always be, my gratitude will always be, to the aviation industry for really making my life better and really surrounding myself with lifelong friends and people that I've learned a lot from, mentors. It's really been just an incredible experience for me to be a part of such a great industry. And again, to meet just friends that, will be by my side at my wedding and, for life. So what's the pre-flight like on the M2? Adam, it's definitely a lot longer. The average pre-flight's about 20 to 25 minutes, I would say. But the biggest thing I've noticed is, dude, it takes a while to fill up the M2. When you want to put some fuel in that puppy, it takes a while. It takes a lot of fuel. But yeah, about 20 to 25 minutes. I always try to do a very thorough pre-flight. Have you installed internet in the plane yet so you can watch Twitch streams? Well, there won't be any Twitch streams, but there's the plane's actually going to be down for maintenance for about 3 weeks, starting end of April, because we're putting basically there's a brand new Wi-Fi system that is not. They won't, because it's so new, it's based on the unions and stuff, they're not installing it at Textron in Wichita, but at the Textron Aviation Service Centers, they're installing it. So the plane's going to be down for 3 weeks getting Wi-Fi installed. So yes, we will have Wi-Fi. Yep. Have you, CitationMax swag, got my, yeah. Well, thank you, Ryan. Do you need to own your own aircraft for interflight? No, not at all. Absolutely not. You can, I know guys that rent airplanes that do it. Absolutely. No, definitely not. If you want a car in Iceland, let me know. Grant, absolutely, I'll definitely let you know. Thank you. 25 minutes, that's how long it takes me to pre-flight 172. Well, I mean, to be honest, there's probably less things to check in an M2 than there is at 172, but I don't know. Max, how is the prop on the left front? How is the prop on the left front luggage door? Any pictures of it? What do you mean? I don't know. How is the prop? 25 minutes seems long for it. Yeah. Ty is very thorough. I'll give him that. That's our secret. So yeah, let me finish showing you guys a couple more pictures of the M2 itself, and then the thing that holds up the door. It's just there's like an actuator that basically just holds it up. But I can show you here. Let's see here. We'll go next. So this is the hangar at Millionaire. This is when she's sitting in the hangar here. I was kind of doing some B-roll a couple days ago, so this is some raw footage. But this is us in the hangar, kind of doing some stuff here. But you can see it's a big airplane. I mean, this is the new Millionaire, one of the new facilities at Millionaire. Again, this is the silver tail. Just the colors came together just beautifully. I think really came out well. So this is us in the hangar, and this is our landing. I didn't record this. Some buddies recorded this very kindly for me in the back. But this is the first landing in the M2, and I'm going to play this for you guys as your first sneak peek into the airplane. 500. It was a gusting about 25 to 30 knot day going into Beverly, just on the North Shore of Boston. It was bumpy. But she flies so great in the weather, though. I mean, such a stable airplane. Incredible airplane. Right at ref over the numbers. Oh, man, I made a boo-boo. Sorry, guys. Oh boy. I told you guys, non-pro streamer. There we go. Now we're good. Sorry. Whoopsie. You can see this is my first rodeo doing this. There you go. I don't even have chat up. Probably guys are like, Max, switch the scenes. Here you go. This is the first preview to the M2 coming into Beverly. You can see it's pretty windy, but again, this is great mentorship experience and stuff that I'll be doing single pilot at some point. So great training. Really is great training. Quiet. I mean, just super quiet. Kind of eerie quiet at 40,000 feet too sometimes. Really is. Speed brakes. So yeah, that was coming into Beverly, which is pretty cool. So this is the cockpit, kind of as everything's working, which is pretty awesome. And yeah, that was it. Get back here. There we go. Max reverse, boys. You know it. Max, yeah, sorry. Madison, sorry. X-Terminator, how you doing, buddy? Jonathan, Vitamin Water is good. It's my specialty. Josh Schwartz, what happened to the Vision Jet? It just wasn't fitting our mission. It really wasn't fitting our mission as a family. Again, it's my parents' airplane, so I'm their pilot. And the M2 just fits our mission better. It's a proven, tested airplane, and it's been absolutely incredible so far. What a tease. Yeah, I know. Sorry. Oh, boy, I'm catching up on chat here. Scene! See you, Riley. Take care. We'll see you soon. Yeah, I know, guys. Sorry. This is the most active the chat's been all day when I did something bad. Play it cool, guys. Just say it was great landing. There we go. We're good now. Cool. Yeah, sorry, guys. The hangar stuff, sure. Yeah. I know the camera guy, good looking dude. Yeah. I had a place out of Bedford next. Oh, cool. Very cool, Grant. So yeah, let's see the hangar stuff. You mean just the hangar video? I can show that. So we show this one. Yeah, this is just in the hangar. This is me doing the walk around. A little Steve-O Knievo in action. We love Steve. Great guy, but trying to get all that B-roll, even though we had the John Deere little thingy there. But yeah, so it's kind of a citation party in the hangar too. It's a lot of CJs. It's kind of cool. So it's just the hangar, which is pretty cool. So yeah, Oh, I didn't show it again. You're doing it again. Yep, I did it again. There you go. Touche. I was waiting for that one. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So this is the hanger. I knew I was gonna mess up on something today very badly, and this is gonna be a joke. Scene, boys. Change the scene, Max. It's gonna be the best YouTube comment here. So again, checking the oil, and this is all the CJs. CJ3. I think there's another CJ3 behind us. A bunch of Pilateses. Kind of what I checked there is there's the oil. Check oil. There's the bypass filter there. And then you kind of just checking everything before we go outside. So it's a heated wing. Everything's heated wing, bleed air for the engine inlet too. The only thing that's not is the tail. So that's it's boots, but everything else is just a solid, great airplane. There we go. All right, change the scene back. There we go. Did it again. We'll never see this hanger video. There you go. Third time's a charm. There you go. Nice looking hanger. But yeah, so let's see, catch up, switch it so we can, there we go. Yep, that's going to be, yep. Do you have your own mechanics? So, hey, Kilos guys, what's up, man? How are you? Someone give this kid a stream deck, I know. Pro streamer. So we're on all the Textron, the Cessna engine, airframe, and parts programs. So everything's warranted and everything's they take great care of us. So they will come down. There's a service center up in Stewart, upstate New York, and they'll come down and we'll take it up there, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, nice seeing you. I appreciate it. I'm really happy to be live, and this is really something. Kind of as we're coming up at an hour and 15 minutes, so we're gonna wrap it up here in a couple minutes, but. Something I definitely want to do this more, and we're still going to be posting a lot of videos and having a great time, but I really want to do this kind of once every kind of month or two, just because I miss you guys, and it's very different posting a video on YouTube. You don't have as much interaction with kind of that person to person interaction. So I really want to do this more and just kind of chat and kind of tell you guys what I've been up to, and you guys ask questions, and I love to talk airplanes. You guys just ask airplanes. I love to answer anything. Yeah, I love talking about airplanes. So anyone that has any questions or anything, please always feel free to shout and stuff and all that stuff. We have some cool stuff just kind of as we're wrapping up here. Will my friend Nathan ever understand diffraction? I have no idea what that's talking about. TKS, I can't leave that. Yeah. Well, it's funny though. So our windshield uses bleed air. Let's say with ice and all that good stuff. But if that fails, we actually do have 10 minutes of TKS fluid as a backup, which is kind of funny. 2 quarts, which does not last very long, but it's pretty funny. So a couple things kind of as we're wrapping up here. So the next CitationMax video, or the first one, it's Student Pilot. Come on, man. It wouldn't be a CitationMax without ending it with a SIA. So the next video is going to be coming out this weekend, probably Saturday morning or Sunday morning. It's done. I think you guys are absolutely going to love it. Oh, I hope you guys are. I watched it about 10 times last night, and it was giving me the goosebumps. So that's going to be the next video. We have some really cool stuff coming. Jackson Hole trip, some big Bravos. There's no O'Hare taxi in the future, but maybe we'll get that in there at some point if we ever go to Chicago. Couple ways of if you guys want to reach out to me and see me in different platforms. We're going to be, all my trips, I'm going to be posting Instagram live stories and pictures on Instagram, CitationMax and the number 1. So if any of my mods could post a link for everyone to maybe hit that'd be great. So that's one way of kind of having a day-to-day interaction with me from that point of view. If you guys like streaming, or you like watching flight simulation or anything like that, I am on Twitch, twitch.tv/CitationMax. So same on YouTube, same on Twitch. And that's a great way of kind of seeing me fly fake airplanes, but also having more of a day-to-day interaction and us being able to kind of talk more. So there's that too on Twitch. And if you guys ever have any questions or anything about the airplane, or you guys want to ask me anything, or you think you have any kind of, if you guys think I should be doing something different or different camera angles or anything, I have created a email, which is CitationMax@yahoo.com. I'm gonna double check that because I just created it, and I just want to make sure that I'm giving you the proper one, because Otherwise, I'm really gonna look like a you know what. Yeah, CitationMax@yahoo.com. And if you guys have any questions, anything that you think, or things, different cameras or whatever, I'm always open to suggestions and ideas, because that's what makes the content better. So then that's another way of reaching me. So that is kind of it to kind of wrap up kind of everything before before we end the stream. Again, we were CirationMax. We are now CitationMax. It just wasn't fitting our mission, the airplane. But now with the Citation M2, it's really fitting our mission much better, and we're really just grateful and blessed to be able to be supported by Textron Aviation and be able to fly such a great airplane. And I'm just blessed and fortunate to be able to be flying it at the end of the day. It's an incredible experience, and I thank my blessings every day to be able to be 23 years old and flying such a beautiful airplane. So this was really, really awesome. I really appreciate everyone coming out and hanging out tonight. Seeing everyone here, it really means a lot to me. So thank you so much. We're going to be doing this again soon. I promise this is not the last time we're going to be doing this. So get ready for some more CitationMax YouTube live streams. But everyone, take care. Thank you so much for hanging out today. You really made my day too. So I'm glad I could do this. And we'll see you guys on the next video. But thank you so much, everyone. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you for all your continued support. And thank you. That's all I can say. Thank you. See ya. See ya. See ya. See ya. All right.